On to the business news now. Brian Quinn is with us. He's starting with a look at the oil markets, of course. Renewed strikes in the Iran war, once again hindering traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, Brian.
Stuart, the U.S. and Iran, of course, sending conflicting messages about whether or not that critical energy choke point remains open to shipping. At least one oil tanker has reportedly made it through the strait amid the weekend's renewed fighting, with U.S. Central Command insisting that the southern route along the coast of Oman remains open to traffic. That traffic, though, is severely restricted. That is sending crude prices sharply higher. International benchmark Brent crude and its U.S. counterpart WTI each gaining around 4% in Monday's session. Analysts say continued strikes could see crude back above 90 a barrel, and that it is unlikely Iran will cede its leverage over the strait any time soon. Take a listen here.
The Iranians have weaponized geography, and they have found a weapon that is much safer and more effective than the development of a nuclear weapon. And that is to turn the Straits of Hormuz into literally an ATM machine, but also to use it as a way to gain increased leverage with key Gulf states.
Now next, France has been battered by one heat wave after another this summit, and the effects are starting to be felt in the real estate market.
Stuart, the French property market has been grappling with environmental concerns for years. Up to now, though, those concerns have mostly focused on more efficiently heating homes in winter, with energy ratings of A through G, largely based on insulation. French business daily Les Echos and the resale site Le Bon Coin, though, are now reporting that extreme heat is increasingly driving decisions. 60% of real estate agents say air conditioning has been a top concern for clients recently. Le Bon Coin says 1 in 3 French households is considering moving due to heat, particularly in the south of the country. Housing prices in France's northwest coastal regions of Normandy and Brittany, meanwhile, have risen by a third between 2019 and 2025. Those areas were once nearly immune to heat waves. That is no longer the case, with cities like Nantes seeing temperatures above 42 degrees Celsius in June. French scientists say the country is unprepared for the economic fallout of climate change.
With the levels of heat waves we're seeing today, we're dealing with something completely new that has never existed until now. Whether it's spatial planning, economic activity, buildings, transport, our entire setup is designed and optimized for a climate which unfortunately no longer exists.
And finally, for business, Cuba has seen yet another nationwide blackout amid a US oil embargo, of course, that's really devastating its economy.
So power was just coming back online in Cuba Sunday after the island nation suffered its second total blackout in a week and the fourth of this year. The country's communist government struggling to keep the lights on amid a near total energy blockade enforced by the United States, part of a host of sanctions that have devastated the country's once vital tourism industry. Daniel Quinlan has more.
Power is back on in Cuba, but for how long? For the second time in a week, there was a blackout across the entire country. Sunday saw power restored to 65% of households in the capital, Havana. It's the fourth countrywide blackout in 6 months.
It's very distressing. For many people, sleeping is very difficult. The heat, the lack of a fan, lack of air conditioning. Willpower is the only thing that gets us through it.
The aging energy grid is struggling to operate under the weight of punishing US sanctions. In January, the US president threatened tariffs on any country that sells or provides fuel to the island nation, the effects of which have ripped through the economy, affecting everything from public transport and rubbish collection to the production of electricity and the functioning of health infrastructure. Previously, the tourism industry had been one of the few bright spots in Cuba's economy, but figures from the government show under 360,000 tourists visited the island this year, a decrease of 58% compared with the same time last year.
But this year, it's dropped off a lot. You don't see tourists anymore. Very few.
In an effort to survive and perhaps lessen the US sanctions, lawmakers in June passed wide-ranging reforms that would allow privatisation of large parts of the communist nation's economy.
Daniel Quinlan reporting. Brian, thanks a lot, Brian, with the business.